Are you ready? I don't think you guys are ready. Finally, I am bringing you the video everybody has been asking for. What is the best assault rifle in the game? With the Pain Train's release, there has been a ton of speculation on what is the king of assault rifles. This test is to show once and for all, this video is to show once and for all which assault rifle is the best in the game. And originally there were four. We have the brand new Pain Train, the kind of new Hemlock, the king of them all for a while, the Wraith, and finally the Gravedigger. But newsflash, the Gravedigger didn't make the cut. This is now a 1v1v1 battle to see who is the king of assault rifles in Fortnite Save the World. Which weapon should you choose to spend your hard-earned reperk, perk up, and XP on? Because I know sometimes it is very hard to get, or at least takes a lot of time. So is the Wraith still the king? We're about to find out. Use what you like. All of these guns are fantastic, and I'm going to show you this spreadsheet multiple times in the video and you guys can check it out. All of the numbers I'm talking about are listed here. But remember, use what you like. All of these guns are great, but I just want to get into a bit of a disclaimer here. All time to kills will be with Rio, with Warcry, and her reload buff. I'm going for the fastest times to kill here. All of them are on 4-man level 94 missions, so smashers will be level 109. I'm in a 3-man party with the same exact people, so granted your numbers will be different, but at the end, hopefully we'll have a compilation of numbers that we can use. I'm only testing 4,000 range ARs with magazine size of 60 or lower. This means that Silent Spectre, Typewriter, Bobcat, the Bundle Bus, and the Hunter Killer are all out. I believe anything below 4,000 range falls into an SMG, and anything with 60 bullets or more falls into an LMG, and those just aren't the weapons we're testing. So that means all of those weapons are off this list. I understand they're good, but they're just not what we're doing today. And all of the roles are very similar with slight variations. The only difference is we ran out of perk up, so we couldn't change them anymore. I'm going to be concise to the best of my ability. Let's get into it right now. The gun choo-choos while you reload it. Video over. Pain Train, best gun in the game, period. I'll see you later on the next one. Although, I'm kidding, it's not far from the truth. We're going to take a look at the Pain Train first, which is my new favorite assault rifle, and I'm going to stay unbiased as possible. With the hardest hitting bullets out of all three, with 14,000 damage per bullet, it has a 50% headshot multiplier, which is lower than average. It also has only 38% crit chance, that's with one crit roll on it, and 320% crit damage, and that's with two crit damage rolls on it. The reason it has so much extra damage is because this gun, like I said in the Pain Train video, can do an extra 4th slot damage roll, which increases the base damage of each shot. Now, exactly how this spreadsheet works, I will explain more in the end of the video, but I just wanted to bring it up while we're discussing each gun. The reload is 2.1, which is fantastic. Fire rate of 6.75, which is similar to the Wraith. However, it does not feel that way. A mag size of 30, and that's with no magazine size on the rolls. To empty one clip is 4 seconds. To empty one clip with a reload is 6.5. You have to also take into account its 6th perk, which on average with the 30 shots you have in a clip gives you an average extra damage bonus of 19%. With all of that included, you're going to be hitting for 48,000 on headshots on average. That's how this spreadsheet works. It's taking an average count of your damage, not per crit, per chance, per anything. It's an average. That's how this spreadsheet is going to work. I'm going to show you more of it later. I don't want this video to go on too long, that's why I'm talking very quickly, but let's check out the time to kill. As you can see, it's super quick. In fact, it's 0.8 seconds in a 3-man party, and no offense to Sentinel, but he's only level 88, so I'm not getting the most damage I possibly can. Hitting for a topped out at 165,000 damage per shot. Granted, on this test, I did get lucky with a couple of crits. I believe only one bullet did not crit, for a total damage number of 640,000 damage in 0.8 seconds. If you watched my pain train video, I showed a glimpse of my inventory and it said I had 929,000 damage per second, and I thought it was a bug. Maybe it's not, because that kind of adds up. We did this for all guns, but let's talk about the bloom real quick. That usually makes or breaks a gun. In this test, which we did for all of the weapons, this is the pain train. We are shooting at that one square. That's it. And out of the 30 shots, 22 landed inside that square. This is with moderate recoil control and him trying to keep it on there the best he possibly can. This is at 5 tile range as well. So 22 out of 30 ain't too bad. Let's see how the other ones stack up. Next up, we have the Hemlock, the weapon that has been talked about for a long time, but is it as good as everybody thinks? Well, let's take a look at it. The damage is much lower, the base damage, than the pain train. However, it has a much higher fire rate, almost by 3 bullets per second. The bonus crit chance is 5% higher, and the bonus crit damage is again 25% higher. So rolling this gun, crit chance, crit damage is definitely the way to go. The impact is much lower. It has the longest reload speed out of all 3 of these guns, but also the largest magazine size, because this one was rolled with mag size. At 61 bullets, it's kind of crazy, but I've never run into an experience that I need 61 bullets to kill anything, except maybe a mini boss that has tank or shield on it. I personally am not a huge fan of this weapon, but I know a lot of people are, and we are not comparing it to the Silent Spectre, even though I know a lot of people do, just because it's not on this list. Anything before 5 tiles, this gun does win with just body shot damage. If you need to kill a smasher really fast, the Hemlock will do that for you. As you can see on the bottom, a full clip without reloading does 125k on average. This gun will melt smashers, but after 4 tiles, it's kind of rough. Let's take a quick look at the time to kill for the Hemlock. So here is the Hemlock. Again, less than a second, but I also am realizing that while I'm slowing these down, the game cannot keep up with the amount of damage, and that's why this might not be 100% accurate, but at least it gives you a good idea. This one did it in 0.85 seconds, so an extra 0.1 second, 0.101 seconds. Jesus Christ, these guns are killing them so fast. Like I said, the game can't even keep up. But there's a reason why I don't like the Hemlock. Like I said 2 seconds ago, if you want to kill a smasher fast, the Hemlock is the way to go. It just shoots so quick with that large magazine size that you'll definitely get them down before you have to reload. But this is where I do not like the Hemlock. And Ryan said there's no spread on that. Right? Out of the 61 magazine, 34 were kept on target. Granted, this is a little bit of a skill gap here. If you're better with recoil or you have a good mouse or something like that, you can keep it on target a little bit more. But this is at 5 tile range. This is the spread on the gun. Less than half hit the target. Less than half. So you're missing a lot of bullets. This solely deducts a lot of points for the Hemlock, but otherwise, it's a great gun. When the Wraith was first released, people went crazy. Granted, there was a bug with it due to your FPS locking and you getting basically a laser beam. This gun was out of control. The damage this thing did was absolutely insane, and it has a range of 5,000. And it's also one of the newer weapons that can roll double crit damage, having a higher base crit chance than the rest as well, and a higher headshot multiplier. What does that all mean? Well, now they fixed the bloom to where it's a lot worse than it was, and fixed is in air quotes, trust me. But even with all of that said, it still outperforms many of the guns, but it does have a caveat, which we're going to discuss in a second. But let's check out the time to kill on the Wraith. This isn't an exact science. Maybe I get lucky on crits, maybe I don't, and I'm just trying to bring you guys some information, really. But let's take a look at the numbers. First up, let's talk about that caveat I mentioned. The caveat with the Wraith is its 6th perk. After 5 headshots, you gain bonus damage. The issue then becomes getting those 5 headshots to get the most out of your Wraith. It's hard to do, especially with any sort of fire rate buff from Urban Assault Headhunter or Rio. The bloom just goes too wild and you can't get it, leaving you to lose out on that bonus damage most of the time. But here comes the crazy part. Even taking out the bonus damage from the headshots from the 6th perk on the Wraith, it still is the best damage in the game. On average, please remember that. On average, the Wraith is the best damage in the game. That's solely due to a few things. Number one, it has a slightly higher crit chance at 48%, so almost 50%. The crit damage is on the high end at 345, and that's with 2 crit damage perks on the weapon. Also, the headshot multiplier is 75%, which is 25% higher than the Pain Train. So out of all of this, it adds up. But let's take a quick look at the bloom and see how that matches up to the Hemlock and the Pain Train. It starts off like a laser, and then it's still good though. It's still damn good. 24 out of the 30 shots landed on target, which is a little bit better than the Pain Train. And I think there's a reason for that, and we'll touch on that in the conclusion. But the gun is fantastic. The Wraith is technically still king, especially if you can proc the 6th perk with the extra bonus damage after 5 headshots. The Wraith technically is still king. But let's talk about these weapons as a whole, why you should level one up over the other, and what bonuses each gun brings to each situation. I think that's very important, as everything's difference is so minimal that it really comes down to how you like the gun itself. There are some bonuses and minuses, or pros and cons, to every one of these guns. Let's start off with the Pain Train. One of the huge pros about it is you can still get it right now. Hop in the store for another couple of days and you can grab this gun over the weekend. If that's the only time you can play, pick it up. It's definitely worth it. It is a close contender to the top rifle in the entire game, so there's no reason not to pick it up. Another thing about the Pain Train is its impact. I stated this earlier, and the impact on this staggers and stuns everything. Some people don't like it. I love it. I really do. And the last little bonus of this, its bonus 6 perk damage is definitely something to keep an eye on. It's a lot easier to proc than the Wraith. It's better than the Hemlock and everything along those lines. I really enjoy the Pain Train. Speaking of the Pain Train, this clip right here is with the bonus damage already applied, and the kill time is 0.625 seconds. 0.625 seconds. That's insane. Granted, these numbers are never going to happen, and they're like vacuum numbers, like shooting in a vacuum, but it's still pretty impressive. Let's talk about the Hemlock. The Hemlock's fire rate is out of control, but so is the bloom. It shoots 9.9 bullets per second and just absolutely decimates anything it comes across. If I were you, I would make one each element maybe and keep it as your main assault rifle for the counter element. That's a great idea right there. However, the bloom on it is just a little too rough for me for anything after 4.5 to 5 tiles, and I just don't love it personally. Now let's talk about the Wraith. I cannot believe that this weapon has not been power creeped out of the game. If you take a look at the Judge, for example, used to be a really fun weapon. It still is really fun, but it does nowhere near the damage as newer released pistols. The Gingerbread pistol comes to mind. The Wraith still hangs in there. It has a higher crit damage, higher crit chance, higher headshot multiplier than all of the guns on this list, and almost every gun in the game, especially for an assault rifle that's fully automatic. It's kind of unheard of, and I think that's what's keeping it in the running. Also, do not forget, this gun performs well at 5 range. Not just good, but really well, having the highest accuracy out of all of them. Every single gun in this game has its own unique use, its own unique play style. You gotta find which one you like best, because like I always say, just play with what you like. Granted, you cannot get the Wraith anymore, so that is definitely a con as well. But out of these three, which one is my personal favorite? I'm gonna have to give it to the Pain Train. Simply because, one, it does a crap ton of damage. The bonus perk is a lot easier to set off, and it choo-choos when you reload. Sorry, I had to slip that one in there. Guys, this has been your 3 best assault rifle test. If you want to see this, or you want giveaways, or you want to try one for yourself, all you got to do is come over to twitch.tv/roundedtiktak. I stream almost every single day. We would love to have you. If you're buying V-Bucks, make sure to use that TikTak00 creator code if you want to help support the channel. Thank you guys so much for sticking with me. If you made it to this point, I know this video has been long, but there was a lot of information that I needed to get out to you. These are my personal opinions once again, but they are backed up by hard truths and facts and numbers. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you on the next one. TikTak out.